What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So, today we have a spicy topic for you. As you can tell, we are sitting up here in my office. We're not driving a car today, we're not modifying. We are going to have a little bit of a discussion. And like I said, this might stir up some comments down below. But before we get started, I do want to apologize. My allergies right now are straight up kicking my ass. Greenville, South Carolina is a place that I've seen on lists and stuff that like pollen and springtime is like one of the worst cities in the country, if not the worst. So if you didn't believe it before, here we go. I didn't get allergies when I used to live in Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's put it that way. But with that aside, the topic of today is going to be, whether you love it or hate it, we're going to talk about a little bit of Carolina squat. Now, for those who don't know what a Carolina squat is, we are specifically talking about trucks, SUVs, whatever. And they look a little bit like this. So basically, rear end is slammed, front end is raised. It's like yay high going down the interstate or whatever. The Carolina squat has been something that, as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. When I came down to South Carolina to play football in college, I'd heard of the Carolina squat, didn't really believe anyone did it, but here we are 8-9 years later, living in South Carolina, and let me tell you, it is a real thing, and it is interesting, we'll put it that way. But like I said, when we refer to Carolina squat, normally trucks, like my truck, my 2019 F-150, we have a 3-inch suspension lift sitting on 35s, Toyo Open Country AT3s. So a nice level setup of truck. If you don't know this as well, most trucks from factory or from a dealership are going to come with a rake. So they're going to have a lower end on the front compared to the rear. Now the point of that is for towing. So you put a trailer on the back of the truck and it's going to naturally kind of level out. I'd say the vast majority of people, when they have a truck, they're not towing every single day, so they want to have a nice level ride, so on and so forth. That's what I did. But Carolina squatting is a whole nother beast in of itself. Now recently, there have been laws passed in the Carolinas that have outlawed it. And basically the law states, and I'm no lawyer, so please talk to your actual attorney if you have any questions on this, but the law basically states that no road-going vehicle, let's call it, can have a, change in height over 4 inches from front to rear. So if, let's say, the rear is at a foot, you can't have a 16-inch front measurement, if that makes sense. Now, here's the thing, guys. I've always been, and as you know, if you've been watching the videos, I am a big proponent of, hey, it's your car, it's your truck, it's your thing, do what you want with it. And I still am, but this topic especially kind of gets me uncomfortable. And the reason being is I am all for this law, and it's restricting people from doing what they want to do. Now, the main reason why this law has been put in place, if you really think about it, if your truck is sitting like this, you can't see what's in front of you. The vast majority of arguments against the Carolina squat is it's dangerous. You don't have a clear line of visibility to the road in front of you, whether that be cars, pedestrians, whatever. You're putting yourself at risk and you're putting everyone else on the road around you at risk. And I think if I were to take a stab at it, I think that's going to be the main reason why this law was passed. And once again, I'm for it, guys. Carolina squatting is something that, like I said, I didn't really know it really existed, but living in South Carolina, I see it literally every single day. And sure, you have some guys that have a pretty, minor Carolina squat. And then you have guys who are riding in Tahoes with their essentially fender to lip fitment on the rear and like a massive lift in the front. It's just like I don't get it. Um, but anyway, like I said, main reason, if I had to guess why this law was passed, was danger. But there are also a lot of other aspects around the Carolina squat that I think aren't really talked about too much, but definitely should be. So I want to get into that here real quick. So one of the other reasons that is not really talked about as it relates to Carolina squatting, or at least that I'm aware of, you are completely throwing off suspension geometry. You are putting unnecessary wear on ball joints, shocks, struts, sway bars, control arms, etc. It's just not. It's not how it's supposed to be, guys. I don't know how else to put it. And if you are a Carolina squat person, drop some comments down below. I would love to hear your logic for it. And once again, at the end of the day, it's your deal. Do what you want with it. I'm just giving you some of the points that I see as potentially, let's call it valid, to argue against a Carolina squat. And awful suspension geometry, awful handling in general is another one. And yes, does that play into danger on the road? Absolutely. But I think the majority of the dangerous conversations arise from visibility, not necessarily, mechanically inclined conversations around how shocks work, how upper control arms work, etc. So that's something that I don't think is talked about a whole lot, but definitely should be. Now, kind of piggybacking off of that as well, and this one is a big one. I've literally never, ever heard anyone talk about this as it relates to this god awful trend with trucks. And that is, if you think about it, if you are sitting, let's call it at a minimum, at a 20-degree angle, okay? Let's say yay high. Do you know how engines work with oil, coolant, fuel injection, etc.? A lot of it is based on gravity. And when you start throwing in different angles to where your engine's supposed to be level, you're going to have issues, especially in the topic of oil. You are going to starve the ever living shit out of that engine of oil. And when you only get 30,000 miles, after you Carolina squat your truck, don't come bitching to me, because that's a pretty straightforward and simple conversation and idea. But I don't think it's talked about at all. So yeah, sure, your truck looks cool as you're riding down Main Street of downtown Greenville, South Carolina, but your truck's not going to look too cool when you throw a rod and you can't drive the damn thing, and then you're bitching and moaning, saying, "Oh, boo." You did it to yourself, man. It's consequences of your own actions. It's not good. And I know, modifying cars, trucks, SUVs, whatever, there is an inherent risk associated with that from a reliability standpoint or whatever, or, quicker wear and tear on your clutch or this or that. That's a fact. But there's a difference between premature wear and wearing to the point where it's not even premature. It's like you just said, screw it. I'm going to see how long it takes for this thing to blow up. It's not good. Not good at all. I've never heard anyone talk about that argument before with it, but it's a very valid point. So you can go ahead and tag me in all these posts that come out after this. But anyway, just something to think about. Once again, it all goes into the danger of the entire deal, but not good. Now, another thing to think about, and this one should be pretty obvious, but with the majority of people, maybe not the majority, I'll step back. With a lot of people buying a truck, SUV, F-150, Silverado, Sierra, Yukon, Tahoe, whatever, I would like to think that a lot of people, whether they're going to do it consistently or not, they have towing and towing capacity in mind. That's why you get a big truck. You get it for big interior space, towing capacity, road trips, blah, 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 blah. Well, when you drop the damn, trailer hitch and it's throwing sparks on the ground, you can't tow. And once again, that's not an issue for everyone, but it's something that I'm sure people have tried it. I guarantee you, some dude with a John boat out in Sans Souci, South Carolina, has tried to attach a John boat to his Carolina Squatted 97 Tahoe, and the trailer went off this way and the truck kept riding that way. It's just not good. It's just not a functional modification, and I think at the core, that's really what irritates me about it. And once again, guys, I try to toe the line on creating content and keeping it real, but also not offending people, or not that I really care, to be honest with you. But I try to keep an open mind to things like this, except for Carolina Squat. I can't do it. And the last thing to talk about, guys, and this is a pretty stupid one, but it affects me. It just gives Carolinians a bad rep. Okay? Everyone who is even remotely in the car, truck, SUV, whatever world, everyone knows about the Carolina Squat, and no one tends to throw the term Carolina Squat out in conversation as like a good thing. They're like, oh, you're from South Carolina? Oh, you got that F-150? I bet you're about to... No. Does it matter? No. Am I going to do it? Hell no. But it's really, really bad, in my opinion, when there is a modification in the car community, in the truck community, that is named after a state in not a positive way. Like, I don't know of any other modifications that hold that title to where it's a statewide, or I guess really two-state wide conversation as far as stereotypes go. It's not good, and it is extremely annoying. And once again, does it matter? No. But when the entire other 48 states and the entire rest of the world, for that matter, is making fun of you, you should probably take a step back, maybe reconsider, I don't know, look yourself in the mirror and say, do I really think I look cool with the Carolina Squatted truck, or this or that? Anyway, guys, that's all I had for today's video. I really wanted to talk about it. I know this topic is really going to piss some people off, and I'm sure a lot of people agree with me. If I had to guess, it's going to be damn near 50-50. Definitely drop some comments down below. I want to hear your feedback on it. It's something where, it's fun, to banter back and forth and whatever. But at the end of the day, guys, it is a, hazard to our roads. And I don't know about you, but when I go for a drive, whether it's to work or Cincinnati or to see my fiance or whatever, I like to feel as safe as I possibly can, and I just don't feel that Carolina Squatted trucks are the answer as far as a safety concern. So we will leave it at that. But once again, guys, if you have any comments, drop them down below. If you like the video, give it a big, fat thumbs up. I hope you all have a great Easter weekend if that is something that you enjoy or celebrate or whatever. If not, have a great normal weekend for the rest of you folks. As always, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill. Until next time, peace.